How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today is a huge day for cryptocurrencies and for a bunch of different assets. The FOMC meeting is happening here, and we are going to hear Jerome Powell speak in a few hours. But there's some major things that we have to look at in the market today, some huge capital raises, some news and adoption news, and we're just going to take a look at the overall crypto market and where it could go after this meeting here today, because there will be a lot of volatility in my opinion. Now, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. So let's get into it here. So we have Bitcoin around 47,000. We had it hit 789 billion yesterday. We had that little glitch here on CoinMarketCap and a couple other websites too, where Bitcoin was showing 32,000 on some websites and 789 billion on others. So it was kind of a fun time, fun to get some pictures of it, but overall the market is down a little bit, right? We have Ethereum dipping down more than some other cryptos here, but we did have some news yesterday that Lemonade was actually buying $1 million worth of Bitcoin for its balance sheet. So not a big buy, not a huge buy, and actually when trying to find out what exactly this was, it was kind of hard looking at their forms, but it seems like it's $1 million worth of Bitcoin, and at this point, it's not a huge buy, but it is one more public company adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Now, we also have some other news from around the market, just more companies raising money from investors, right? These are not you and I buying the dip on these companies or anything. These are private firms that are raising money, private companies that are raising money from institutional investors. These are big names and they want a piece of the crypto industry. So if they can't buy the cryptos themselves because of tax rules or tax laws here in the US, they're gonna buy some of the picks and shovels plays. So Bitcoin firm NYDIG raises $1 billion from investors. Now I covered this yesterday, but still there are some other companies raising money that are somewhat similar. So I wanted to bring it up again because these are the companies you want to be raising money. It's not some no-name crypto that raised a seed round or something like that, or got some grant from the Solana Foundation, right? This is a $1 billion raise for a company that is going to bring adoption to banks, right? They work with 650 different US banks, I believe it is, and they're trying to give people access to crypto. So this is where you want money flowing. Another company, KKR, leads a $350 million raise for crypto custody bank, Anchorage Digital. This is another company that you want to be raising money. So the new raise was from investors in traditional finance and cryptocurrency, including Goldman Sachs and Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto firm, Alameda Research. They say, as a pioneer in enabling institutional investors to access digital assets, Anchorage has built a best-in-class institutional-grade digital asset platform that combines the best practices of both modern security and usability. So they were one of the, I believe it's actually the first crypto firm to receive a charter from the US National Bank Regulator. So this is another big piece of news. And one interesting part of this is Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto firm, Alameda Research, is help leading this. Now, they just raised a good amount of money over on FTX. So Sam Bankman-Fried runs both of these, but they raised $420 million from 69 investors in a meme funding round. So they raised it at a valuation of $25 billion. So they're doing some big things over at FTX too. They actually just announced a first of its kind partnership with FTX also. So they're going to be doing NFTs for the Warriors. So one of the cool things about FTX is they actually do everything off chain for NFTs. So you don't have to pay fees like Ethereum fees to buy and sell like you do on OpenSea. So I'm actually a partner of FTX. If you guys want to check them out underneath the video, I have a link where you can get some free crypto if you deposit and trade $10, but they have zero fee trading over there. They also have a really easy to use app. I love the user interface. It's so nice to look at. It kind of reminds me of Robinhood, but I think it's actually a little bit better. It's really quick to set up, and they have zero fee trades on NFTs because it's off chain. So I have two links underneath the video. They have two apps for the US now because they recently bought Blockfolio. So that's actually the app that I use. It's just called FTX. And when you use that link, you do get a bonus. The other one is ftx.us Pro, and that's for more like the high volume traders. So I'll leave links to both those underneath the video in case you want to try it out. I really would, because it is a really nice app. One other piece of news before we get into what's happening today is crypto lender Ledin raises $70 million in Series B round, Ready's Bitcoin-backed mortgage product. So we've heard about this before, Bitcoin-backed products and Bitcoin-backed mortgages. But what's really important in this is it just gives people one more reason to hold on to Bitcoin. If you can have Bitcoin and get some kind of loan for it, for a down payment for a house, and then use it, it's really a significant thing if you're talking about long-term value, especially if you think Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million. If you don't have to sell any of it off and you can just use it as collateral, that is huge. That gets people to not sell off their Bitcoin to make big purchases. That means that there are going to be less people selling and more people that are just buying and holding and realizing that they can use it for the long term to still get what they want, but not actually have to sell it, which just locks up more than's already locked up. Now, we should probably hit on what's happening today. Well, just yesterday, House passed ceiling, debt ceiling increase, so $2.5 trillion, and they're going to raise the next one in about a year. So they're going to be able to get through the primaries with this money, and this is an insane amount of money. When you think about $2.5 trillion, I think it's hard for us to imagine it, how much this actually is, but this is so huge, and the only thing that they can do to cut down the debt or to be able to manage the debt is to inflate the money supply more or to raise taxes, right? You can't do anything else. It's not like magically we're just all going to make twice as much money next year and then taxes are going to go up 2x with the same percentage, right? So there are only a couple different things we can do to handle this debt. Now, with that in mind, inflation has been going insane recently. We know that CPI and PPI have been going insane, and the FOMC meeting ends today. So the Fed is expected to accelerate the pace of the taper down to $75 billion a month of printing, so that's still a huge amount, and then release guidance on 2 rate increases for 2022 and 3 in 2023. So if we hear anything less than this, it's going to be good for the crypto markets. It's going to be good for the stock market, most likely, because that means that we're going to continue this lower rate environment longer. Now, what we've had in the past is some kind of a taper tantrum where people get freaked out. We remember that in 2018 where the stock market dipped like crazy when we heard news that they were going to raise rates, and they started raising rates, and then they started to lower them again because people were so worried. They're going to hopefully provide some criteria for hikes. So I think that we could see a little bit of a dip if they come out and say that they are going to raise rates quicker than expected or more than expected. Of course, we're going to see a lot of fear in the market, but you have to realize that this is probably something that is good to lower CPI and PPI. It's just that it's going to hurt the crypto market and the stock market short term. The markets don't like to hear about raising rates because that means that it's going to be harder to get a hold of money. Now, how we react to this could be volatile. I'm not going to sit here and say that, yeah, go buy the dip right now, because honestly, we could see lower numbers come in after this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some wild swings right before, just trying to freak people out, or people that are just trying to take risk off the table. With that being said, I do have some money ready. So if we see them raise rates or say that they're going to raise rates more than expected, or we see a large dip in the market, I will still buy. I'll just wait a little bit of time to buy. Now, of course, I will be keeping an eye on this, so I will give you an update later today, but I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think that the market's going to be fine? Do you think that it's going to drop a lot? Do you think it's going to explode after this happens? Of course, we could have something of a nothing burger, and we might not see very much volatility. But if I had to guess, I would say that there's going to be some volatility either to the upside or the downside. It's just a question of what the Fed says. Now, with that in mind, the crypto market's still going to do fine long term. It's still going to do great. That's why I showed you how much money is coming into the market, to show you that people still are very interested in investing in the crypto markets. Big name investors are still interested in investing. They don't think it's going away. So let me know your thoughts on this down below. Definitely check out the links to FTX underneath the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.